Every Athlete Matters is proudly presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. For more info, visit victorymuncie.com.
The national leader in digital sports production is in Ball State's College of Communication, Information, and Media. The best stories in Ball State sports and live productions to ESPN from day one. This is Ball State Sports Link.
Hey everyone, welcome inside Studio B at Ball State University for another edition of Every Athlete Matters, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. I'm Jack Kaiser.
And I'm Rachel Berry.
And this week we start with Ball State Gymnastics, who has very high expectations for this season. Head coach Joanna Salim says this year's group has more talent than any team she's ever coached in Muncie. Get a feel for the hype with the Ball State Gymnastics intro, produced by Sina Grivey. They're a confident bunch and have been a lot of fun to watch already this year, Rachel.
That's right, Jack, and even through all their success, these athletes have faced hardships and found ways to persevere. Here's the story of junior gymnast Arden Hudson and her journey to Ball State, produced last year by Bailey Zobel.
Good job, babe.
Started when I was 3, and I started Mommy and Me classes, and the class was a ballet, like half ballet, half gymnastics, but then I was doing gymnastics in ballet class, so the teachers were just like, you need to only do gymnastics because I was getting in the way. And then when I was 5, I moved to Pennsylvania, and I started at my gym, my club gym, and I stayed there the rest of the time. One of my friends, my old teammates, looked here, and then she ended up going somewhere else, but I remembered the name when she told me she was looking there. It was like within the ranking, I knew I could fit, so I just emailed Joanna and then it happened.
Arden came in and blew us away this year. She is an outstanding young woman, and she was consistently in the lineup on 3 events. We were pretty successful this year with the really young team that we had. We had a lot of successes, the most wins that we've had in a regular season in a while, and ended up with like 4th in the MAC regular season. So we had a lot of accomplishments this season.
We broke the vault record this year. We won over half our MAC meets this year, and we beat some pretty big conference schools this year. So that was all really exciting.
Arden's a big leader on the team also. She's more of the vocal leader, and she wants the very, very best for the team, so she's gonna encourage everyone, but she's also not gonna let them slack off. I would have never guessed that she would be my best friend on the team, but from the first weekend that we met, we knew that we had something in common.
She's my best friend here. We just, I don't know, we get each other, we know when we need alone time, we know we want to do stuff together, and she's one of those people where if I'm nervous, I'll look at her for reassurance. So it's been nice this year that she's traveled to every meet, so then if I'm nervous or I'm upset, I just look at her, she says something to me. It's helped me learn how to chill and to rely on certain people for what I need.
Her and Tori have a great relationship, and they're roommates. They have a lot of fun together, and I think that they have both been through some unique tragedy in their life, and I don't know if inherently they just bond because of who they are as people, or if that has a connection to it.
I had 2 coaches at my club gym my whole life. Bob Schultz and Tom Ford, and Tom Ford was the owner. Both of them have just been like father figures. And then my sophomore year, this summer, going into my sophomore year, Bob was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer or something along those lines. And he passed away October. The next year, Ford had lung cancer. There was a day where he couldn't come in anymore, or he couldn't coach, so he would only come in for like an hour. I told him I was committed to Ball State, and he was so excited for me, and then like a couple weeks later, he passed away. So since it was my senior year, I knew I could come back from Bob's death. Having both of them gone was really hard, but I just wanted a good senior year, so I just tried to let the team have fun and to just do it for them. It was hard. We didn't have practice for a while, and then at meets, people would just come up to you and say, "I'm so sorry," and it's like, I don't want to talk about it, but a couple of my teammates were like, "I don't want to do gymnastics unless they're here, like, they're my coaches," but then you just had to talk them through it and make them realize that they need to do it for them and not quit despite them.
She stepped up for her teammates, for all of the younger ones, and she worked through some of her own grief by leading. She wasn't stuck in it necessarily. She worked through it in a really healthy way. We were recruiting her. She seemed like a very well put together young woman, had an understanding of, where we were going. I knew there was a lot of potential gymnastically there. But when you find out and watch them navigate a situation at such a young age in such a mature way, you know that you've got a valuable person.
College gymnastics has always been my dream, and I knew that especially Bob would be so mad at me if I quit for that reason. Now it's time, like, I'm here, I'm in my dream, and now I need to set goals and just work to get them done within these next couple years.
Arden and the Cardinals are off to a strong start this year as she starts her junior campaign.
Well, Rachel, a freshman on the women's basketball team has burst onto the scene at Ball State. Sydney Freeman came in highly touted from Albion, Indiana, and starts at point guard for the Cardinals this year. Get to know Freeman in this story, produced by Ryan Klimchek and Jaron Matheny.
I remember when I got offered, I was like, I really want to come here. So me and my family talked about it, and they said, yeah, that's the right choice. So I made the call, and I was super excited. Gym's like beautiful, campus is beautiful. I love the coaches. The players all were like a family, and I really like that.
The plan at least was Carmen was going to be done with her senior year, and we were going to need a point guard. We made the decision early on in that process that we liked the batch of point guards in Sydney's class way better than the class before it.
Because I played like on the big stage in the state games, kind of helped me prepare for this.
We really liked Sid's ability to score the ball and her poise, her character, and then at the end of the day, she's a winner.
When I met Brady, I thought he was nice, and I went to a practice and I was like, oh, he's a really intense person, but I like how he coaches and how he is as a person.
Coming down and you're getting ready, like you guard somebody that can't shoot, they're guarding me, okay? So you got to guard this.
In practice, I get harped on about multiple efforts. Not just doing one thing, but doing multiple things. He's taught me a lot. My defense has gotten way better.
We don't call it extra time we put in, we call it necessary time. And when you've been through that and you understand the things that it takes to win, you have a tendency to do well in our culture.
Jazz has been really helpful here. Blake, Smith, they just kind of like tell us what's coming and lead by example. Jazz does that really well.
They look to me and say, okay, what am I doing? A lot of the time they're like, I don't know what I'm doing, like I need help. I'm an extension of the coaching staff because I've been here so long that it's just easier for me to be like, hey, like this needs to happen. And they've all been really great about it, from Estelle to Anna to Annie to Sid. They've been great about it, and they've helped me.
It's so much faster. The first couple games I was a little winded, but I'm getting better. The physicalness of the game is just way more than high school.
I think her ceiling's where she wants to put it. That's the awesome thing. I would hate to even answer that question, because I might put it too low. And I think it's extremely high. I mean, I think she can be one of the best that's ever come through here. She's only scratching the surface.
Sydney Freeman having a great year and has a very promising future for the Cards.
Coaches play a vital role in any athlete's life on and off the court, but some coaches have specific roles to help them become just that much better. The Ball State men's basketball team welcomes strength coach Colin Michael this season. Learn what led him to Ball State in this piece produced by Parker Webster.
Colin's definitely one of those guys that you can relate to. I mean, he's 26, 25 years old, so it's definitely like he's around our age. He gets our type of humor, has similar interests as most of the guys on the team. So yeah, he's really fun to have around.
He's really down to earth, you know, like he's from Ohio, he's been to school in New York, he's really relatable too. You know, I went to school on the East Coast as well, so those things I just like about him.
I got a full scholarship to go to Buffalo. Picked that basically because it was the right fit for me coaching wise. I changed into exercise science because it was truly my passion, to help other people out in the same way that strength and conditioning helped me. I got into college, I fell in love with lifting, so that whole dynamic really pushed me towards exercise science. I went to Michigan, which was an amazing experience. Can't be more thankful to Coach Beeline and Coach Sanderson, who really gave me that opportunity to be in there and work with those guys through their Big Ten Final Four run.
What? You said go tomorrow?
He keeps everybody in line and like holds us accountable for everything that we're supposed to do, and like make sure that we like meet our weight goals and just do every rep and do everything right and have proper technique, and it's just like a really professional way of being in the weight room with him.
I like that he's really honest with you. I mean, he's not gonna sugarcoat anything. If he thinks you're not working hard again, he's gonna call you out for that. I mean, that carries a lot of weight in a program like this where accountability is a big thing. So being able to, you know, call someone out if you think they're not working is gonna help them personally, but ultimately it's gonna help the team succeed.
And from the start, it was just, I could tell that he cared about the guys first. And that's something that's really important to me. Obviously, we're in an industry that's about winning, but he truly cares about developing the athlete as a whole person. So he wants you to succeed at life, not just succeed at basketball. And we talk about this all the time is, if you can succeed at life and do the right things, you're going to succeed in basketball anyway. It's a byproduct. So if you're a good person, if you work hard, if you put in the time and do the right things, that will transfer over into life and you'll be a better basketball player because of it.
Another team in action in Worthen Arena is Ball State men's volleyball, led by senior libero Nick LaVanchy. Through sickness and health, LaVanchy has been a staple in the Cardinals program. Ball State alum Connor Nichols shows LaVanchy's journey as the comeback kid.
If I hadn't gone through what I did, I don't think I'd have the same outlook on life. They didn't know what it was. It could have been cancer for all they knew. It was a growth of some sort that they didn't really know for sure until they got the blood back.
You tired? Where are you?
I want to be remembered as somebody that worked for where I'm at, not as somebody that ever had anything given to them, because that's never been me. It's just not how it is. I'm not going to be the perfect player, I don't know, All-American or whatever, but I'm going to be as good as I can be.
My emotions when Nick told me that he was going to be playing volleyball for Ball State was absolute joy. There was a lot that Nick had gone through, and to finally be doing what you've dreamed about doing all your life is here. It's just the happiest moment for a parent to see your kid realize that.
As a kid, I was probably always the smallest kid. I always wanted to be just as tall and just as big as everybody else, but obviously I couldn't do anything about that.
We knew early on that he was going to be involved in sports all his life.
I was in third the whole time and then couldn't work. That's not bad, Nick.
We let him do whatever he wanted to do as far as sports because he wanted to do every single sport there was. When he was 4, he started baseball and he couldn't wait to get up in the morning to go to baseball practice.
We were always proud of him just because he was striving. And with his size disadvantage in a lot of things, he played football as a young kid too.
Playing football as a kid, I barely played. I practiced a lot, played some defense.
One of his friend's fathers was one of the wrestling coaches, and of course he talked to Nick into being a wrestler.
I was never one to just sit at home and do nothing. I did just about anything.
One day he was a freshman in high school and Nick called and he said, "Dad," he goes, "I'm just thinking," he goes, "what would you think if I didn't go out for the baseball team?" I told him, "It's completely up to you, and no matter what you do or what you choose to try to do, I'll always back you." He followed my answer up with, "I just think I'd have more fun playing volleyball."
I got bored of baseball, you can go 9 innings and not score a run. Volleyball, you get a point every play, no matter what. So I just loved that there was always action, you're touching the ball every play, every other play, whatever it might be. In middle school, I played in this one-day tournament. It was just throw a bunch of kids that were, kind of athletic together and play in one tournament just for fun. And I was like, wow, this is pretty fun.
Looking back, that's probably the happiest I had been as far as he really found his passion. You could tell that he really had something with volleyball. He wanted to be on that court all the time. Ever since junior high, he had complained about stomach problems. Towards the end of freshman year, the pains started getting worse.
My freshman year, I'd just have constant stomach pains. Really wouldn't have an appetite. I'd eat one meal a day.
His mom set up an appointment. We went in, they did a scope and discovered this huge ulcer on his duodenum. The duodenum is just a part of the anatomy of the intestinal system in a person. Food was getting stuck in that area, and as it was dissolving, like you and I normally dissolve, it was actually eroding away part of his intestine.
What day is it? May what?
I don't know.
What day of the week is it? Do you know that?
That's right. Good job.
I woke up from that procedure and they're like, "We're admitting you to the hospital and you're gonna be here for a while." I just found the sport that I was doing well in. I was getting to learn it, and then I got stuck in the hospital and couldn't really do anything active for a month after that.
He couldn't eat food orally for I think 30, 31 days. So he had a PICC line in that they actually fed him through a backpack feeder. For a lot of kids, that would have ended sports. And Nick's big thing is how soon can I get back?
You're scared and you're upset, but yet Nick. Nick's gonna come through. Nick will find a way to get through this.
As soon as the doctor gave him the okay to go back and play sports, that was when he asked if I'd sign him up for the local club team.
A couple months later, I made a travel team, which was awesome. Kept going from there. I ended up making varsity as a sophomore, which was a big deal for me. I found my niche. I just loved it. Volleyball, I wasn't being held back by being a short guy.
We really liked his game, but at the time when he was a senior, the beginning of his senior year, we didn't necessarily have a need at that position. We thought we had the position set and recruited for.
In the meantime, Ball State and Jim told me that they basically no longer needed to fill the position, and that was just a huge bummer. I was like, man, that's where I really wanted to go.
At one point, Nick had finally kind of thought, I don't know if this is going to work out for me. And we decided, you know, you need to apply to different schools you want to go to that have nothing to do with volleyball. And so that's when he did decide to apply at Mizzou, where most of his friends were going, but deep down in his heart, that's not what he wanted.
My dad was like, you need to email these coaches. So I sent them one last email and basically just listing my accomplishments, what I could bring to the team, you know, what kind of person I was. It was kind of a shot in the dark, and I could have got a big fat no. And the next day, Jim called me and told me that he wanted me on the team. And I was so happy.
Really wasn't until I would say midpoint of the spring of his senior year that we realized we absolutely have to do this and we need this for next year. We really had a need at that time. It became necessary to get somebody of his ability in the gym in that time frame when we originally didn't think we would. So we got lucky in a sense as far as being able to find a player of his caliber, I would say that late in the game, that would fill our need. That's how I looked at it.
It was always a dream of mine to be a Division I athlete, and you know, growing up I thought it was going to be baseball, or at least I hoped it was. To go from somebody who had never played the sport and then 4 years later playing at the highest level you could, it was extremely rewarding.
My emotions when Nick told me that he was going to be playing volleyball for Ball State was absolute joy. There was a lot that Nick had gone through, and to finally be doing what you've dreamed about doing all your life is here. Is just the happiest moment for a parent to see your kid realize that.
Up next, the 15th ranked Cardinals of Ball State face off against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Freshman year, I came in and opportunity presented itself. I got to play and start in Hawaii in our first tournament of the season. I actually set my career high dig night. My first collegiate match was against Princeton. I think I had like 16 digs. I don't know what was going on. It was probably adrenaline. You know, I got to play college volleyball. My first ever college game I got to start in, you know, and I was in Hawaii. I mean, what else? What else did I want?
It showed us right away his ability, that we were right in our decision and that he has the ability to play at this level. And I think it was kind of an eye-opener for everybody that I think, hey, we made a good call here.
Men's college volleyball, Lindenwood, that's out there in the Missouri, right? Yeah, Ball State, Nick LaVanchy runs all the way to the other side of the net to save it.
As a kid, you always watched SportsCenter Top 10, and I was like, maybe that could be me one day. And then to hear that that actually happened, I was like, I thought the play was cool. I didn't think it was that cool. I was like, wow, I did that.
The guys voted him as one of our captains this year, so that shows that the team values the role that he plays for our program. We needed somebody to be the voice of our team out on the court, and Nick was willing to play that role.
He's become a great leader for the team. He's become a great resource for the team. He's become a great friend for the team.
Nick is definitely goofy. He loves having fun. He doesn't want to get down. He doesn't want to dwell on things. He wants everybody to just have fun.
3, 2, 1. Okay, good, good.
Not everybody is this way, but he's an outgoing person that you enjoy being around and sharing time with.
Jack Kaiser, Ball State libero Nick LaVanchy. We're going service line to service line. All right, Nick, let's get it out there.
Alrighty.
How tall are you?
5'10", 11 on the roster though. Let's keep it that way.
He cares so much about this program. Just that mentality and what he brings to the team is so important. Because if you don't have a guy on your team like that, we could be losing a lot more.
LaVanchy from his backside sends it up.
He's done a lot of things that a lot of kids wouldn't be able to achieve, and not just with athletics, but just in life. I know the kid's going to be successful because he has that attitude.
If I hadn't gone through what I did, I don't think I'd have the same outlook on life. I'm not going to be the perfect player, All-American or whatever, but I'm going to be as good as I can be.
Very inspiring to see Nick's leadership and attitude he brings every day.
As we've seen throughout this show, hard work is crucial for success, and Antonio Phillips is no exception to this. With a relentless approach, Antonio has pushed through tragedy to have a great career here at Ball State. Here's a sneak peek at the Antonio Phillips story produced by Jack Kaiser and Quentin Zilke.
Phone ringing. He finally answered, and I could just hear it, like the pain in his voice. In that moment, I was in denial, definitely in denial. This can't be him. And then, of course, once I got around all my brothers and stuff with the team, they don't even know how much they helped me. I just looked up and kind of imagined him smiling down on me, like, yeah, you got that for me. It took a lot for me to get here to where I am at this point, and he knew that. I know that. My family knows that. Just trying to do whatever I can each and every day to make that right and kind of live out a dream for the both of us.
Look out for the release of Antonio's story coming soon.
Definitely something to keep an eye out for. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of Every Athlete Matters, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. Winter sports season is in full force, and so is the storytelling of Ball State SportsLink. For Rachel Berry and our entire crew, I'm Jack Kaiser. Make sure to follow us on social media by searching @BSU SportsLink. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.